In today's video, I sit down with Steve Webb, Vice President of Product Development for the Portal Connector. In January of 2021, the Portal Connector released its first Power Automate connector. So let's dive in and learn more about this connector and see it in action. Well, we're here today with Steve Webb from the Portal Connector. Thank you for joining us, Steve. I'm really excited to learn more about your connector.
No, thank you, Heidi. Thanks for the opportunity to talk a little bit about it.
Great. So I have on the screen your connector on connectorreview.com. Obviously, we loved your connector. We rated it 5 stars. We see amazing use cases, and this seems to be one of the best built connectors that we've seen enter the Power Automate marketplace. So obviously, we wanted to talk to you and learn more and see more about this in action. With kind of a strong Dynamics background, I'm very familiar with your offering. Some of our customers have used it, and I've known people who just rave about it. So we can see there are 22 triggers, so you can pretty much kick off a flow with anything you could think of and 17 actions. So I guess my first question for you is, how are you seeing people use the connector today?
Yeah, what we want to do when we built the connector is to, well, not really box people in, right? So we see a lot of organizations with varying degrees of business requirements that they want to accommodate, and really, those unique requirements deserve different types of triggers, different types of actions. So we're starting to see people, of course, it was just released in January, and folks are just starting to pick it up, over the last month or so. And we're starting to see people do a lot of things. A lot of it has to do around user management. So, applying roles, creating users, automated creating users by using the connector, that sort of thing, because those are usually the beginning aspects of things. They have triggers firing from other systems that would for example, like Business Central, when something is an order is created in Business Central or something like that, they want to be able to give folks access to a portal to see that if they have the integration, of course, with Dataverse. So we're starting to see a lot of use cases like that where it's all automated. They're creating their users, they're creating their roles. People are getting automated access to their information, so on and so on. So it really comes down to exactly what they're trying to accomplish. Some organizations, because we are built on an enterprise level content management system, the Portal Connector is, a lot of folks are using it for content management. So, synchronizing content from various sources and, blog posts, news, so on and so on. So this is great for creating content within the content management system as well.
That's a really interesting use case. I hadn't thought about that. And I do see you have triggers here for the content update and added. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So are there plans in the future to kind of do more with this connector? I can't imagine what else you could do here. It looks pretty complete. But where are you planning to take this in the future?
Yeah, so, we believe strongly in listening to our customers and our partners. So we're going to let this play out for maybe another 6 to 8 months, see where it takes us from there. But we do have some plans on adding some features to it, enhancing it a little bit, possibly providing some, well, actually, we want to get some templates in there as well for some of those common use cases. So right now, we're just kind of in the assessment stage to see how people are actually using it.
Yeah, that's a great plan. And we do have a link to your documentation here. So if anyone's checking out connectorreview.com, there's good documentation with this one. So you can check it out here. Just click on that, go to crmportal.connector.com, and you can see a ton of information there. I'm excited to hear that you have templates coming soon. I like when I get to a connector and you can see some of the use cases to get started. So that's exciting. Well, is there anything else you want to share about your connector before we dive in and see it in action?
Just that I have to thank my team. When I went to them and said, hey, let's do this. We wanted to make a big splash. I think we did. My team really, really came through and delivered a connector that is just phenomenal. I'm looking at it all the time, even just for demo's sake, and showing it to our partners and our customers. It's just packed with so much functionality that you can do anything with it really. So I have to really applaud my team for really coming through with this.
Yeah, I applaud your team as well. Like I said, this was mind blowing when we saw this because we check out every connector as it's added to Power Automate. And typically there might be one trigger, maybe two, a handful of actions. So this was just amazing, which I think is why in our use case, we just said, this is fantastic. Great job.
Well, thank you very much.
Awesome. So I'm going to let you take over control here and share your screen. And we would love to see an example flow with your connector.
Well, I have a great example today to show you. So let me just share my screen here. So I have it pre-built just for time's sake, but what I'll do is I'll walk through it. This, of course, is our website, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the portal connector itself. So this is the administrative area, and you can see here I'm sitting on the news section because we do have, again, it's an enterprise level content management system. So I'm in the news section, and what this connector is going to do is when I create a news item, you can see that I have some different language versions here, English and French. I'm going to create the English version, and then I'm going to create the French version and put the same English content in there. And we're going to have that connector kick off, translate that content, and put it back into the French side. So that's just, some integration with the Microsoft Translator Power Automate connector. And let me bring that up and show you what that looks like.
This is a great use case, by the way. I love the translation tools that you can do. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So this is it. Okay. And what we're doing is, as you said, that we do have quite a few triggers and we have quite a few actions. You can see here that right now I have my content created when I create a news item. Okay. And then what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the language data of that news item. And if it's to be French Canada, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually translate some content and then update that news item. Okay. So inside there, you can see that if it falls into the French Canada, then we're going to translate the content of the news item. And then we're also going to translate the summary of the news item. Okay. And then we're going just to update that news item with the translated content. Make sense?
Yeah, this is cool.
Awesome. So just before I get in there, as you said, we do have quite a number of actions. So I'm just going to bring that up really quick. And just to show you some of the other actions that we have in there. So you can see here that we talked a little bit about the user management side of things. So we can assign roles, we can create content, delete content. There's a whole list of them there, but a lot of them have to do with users and even locking out users. So if you come across a situation where you want to lock a user out, you can do that, so on and so on. So we have a ton of actions there. And what's interesting is that this create content here, and let me just get rid of this one here. This create content is very dynamic, so you can actually see all the different types of content that we have in the system. So there's a lot of options to that. So let me actually just run this. So I'm going to go into my portal here. I'm going to create a new news item. I got some content here that I'll just copy in there really quick. Let's take this here for the summary. So as I'm creating this news item,
that's some fantastic text there, by the way.
It is, isn't it? It's great. Thank you very much. So we create that news item, and you can see I have my English version now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that French version now with that same content. Over here. I guess I could have just copied it right from there. And let's publish this. So as you know, Power Automate, it works pretty much instantly. So if I go into that French content now, it's already translated.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's really cool.
Yeah, that's just one of the triggers and that we have is to create content, and obviously integrating with the Microsoft Translator, it's a great use case. And what's nice about the Microsoft Translator Power Automate connector is that you can use it for free up to 2 million characters a month. So, you know, if you already have your content translated, it's great for just minor edits.
Yeah, I'd imagine this is a good productivity time saver here. It could really streamline the whole process of getting your content out quickly and making sure it reaches all of your audiences. This is really neat.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if I wanted to take it one step further, what I probably could have done is grab that English content when I created and automatically created the French content for it. But in this case, I pulled the trigger on when the French content was created.
Yeah. Oh, this is really neat. Thank you so much for sharing this, Steve.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So we do have, as you mentioned, we do have quite a few triggers. So we do have this is our list of our triggers. So there is a ton of use cases that you could use this for, even just form submissions back to Dynamics 365 or Dataverse. And what's really key about this as well is that, a lot of folks, they're still on older platforms of Dynamics CRM 2011, all the way up through 2016, online, on-premise. You could still use this with all of those versions of Dynamics as well, if you wanted to, because it is, interacting with that data from your Dynamics system, but it's through the portal. Yeah.
That's very cool. We definitely like to not forget about our on-premise customers. There are quite a few of them still, so that's a huge win for them, because I know not everything is compatible with their systems. So this is very cool. That will make people happy. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's the demo I had prepared for you today, and it's it's pretty cool use case. Converting your content over to a different language. It's just one of the many use cases you can use the connector for.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I thank you so much for that. That's not even a use case that was like on my radar. So that was pretty neat to learn about. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate your time and sharing all this great information about your connector. We look forward to using this and hearing about how other customers are as well.
That's perfect. Thank you for your time, Heidi.